Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to tonight's Parent University workshop. Today's focus is literacy and how to support literacy at home. Muchas gracias a todos para venir a nuestro taller sobre la lectura hoy. El enfoque es sobre la lectura en la casa y cómo apoyar la lectura de su estudiante en el hogar. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Vamos a comenzar. My name is Brenna Horan. I'm the Managing Director of Academics and Compliance. And this is a photo, very meaningful to me. It's my daughter opening up a present, which was a book on her birthday. We wanted to have literacy themed photos for today.
Yes. And my name is Miss Rivas. I am the academic coordinator here at Xterra Public Schools. And this photo is with me. I actually met my favorite author. I drove in rush hour traffic to go visit my favorite author, Margaret Peterson Haddock. She writes mystery authors for upper elementary, and I got her to sign all 7 books in her Found series. And I was very, very excited to meet her because when I taught 5th grade here at Xterra, I actually read the book that I'm holding, Found, with my students. So it was such a tremendous and amazing moment for me to be able to meet that author. So that's my picture.
Entonces aquí tenemos dos fotos y nos presentamos. Yo soy Brenda Horan. Yo soy una de las directores en Xterra y me enfoco en lo académico y también el cumplimiento. Y esta es una foto de mí con mi hija y está abriendo un presente que contiene un libro porque queríamos tener fotos enfocados en la lectura hoy. Y también hay una foto de Miss Rivas cuando ella estaba enseñando el 5.º grado con una autora favorita de ella. Y todos los estudiantes en su clase leyeron el libro que se llama Found y es una serie de 7 libros sobre un niño que desapareció y es un misterio y ella tuvo la oportunidad de conocer la autora. Also, if you just entered, please make sure to drop your name in the chat so we can give you attendance credit. También si recientemente entraron, por favor, si pueden poner sus nombres y también los nombres de sus hijos en el chat para recibir crédito para su asistencia hoy.
So these are 2 quotes we wanted to start off our session with. So please take a moment to read through these quotes. We have one in English and we have one in Spanish. And then we're going to ask that you write a word, a phrase, or a word or a phrase that really speaks out to you in the chat that really is meaningful to you.
Entonces, queríamos comenzar con una cita sobre la lectura y entonces estamos pidiendo si ustedes pueden escoger una palabra, una frase de la cita que es importante o sentimental para usted de las citas y ponerlo en el chat.
So I'm seeing soul, imagination, life, life. Yeah, a lot of lives. Vida. Soul. Light. Yeah. For me, it was that life to everything. And that's what we really wanted to show you through this presentation, that reading can open up so many opportunities to you. And we're just so excited to bring so many great opportunities to you and just show you how, just show you so many wonderful opportunities that we could bring to you.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be sharing the importance of reading at home in English and Spanish. We're going to be sharing resources that you can use with your child at home. And we're going to be sharing strategies to increase reading time at home because we really want you to know that it's just not reading at home in English. Reading at home in Spanish is just as important. So we have lots of awesome strategies to share with y'all today.
Yes, so today los objetivos de hoy, vamos a hablar sobre la importancia de lectura en la casa, cuáles son los recursos que ustedes tienen para utilizar en la casa y también cuáles son las estrategias basado en la investigación que son más beneficiosos para los estudiantes. Okay, so we're going to get started by talking about reading practice and how it impacts growth. So, research has shown that practice reading really impacts overall how a student performs in reading. And the more a student practices reading, the better they get at reading. And it's interesting to know that less than 50 or around less than 50% of students read for 15 minutes or more per day. And in addition, it's important to note that reading practice impacts reading skills more than homework, classwork, and their relationship with teachers. And reading engagement impacts academic achievement, and it can be more powerful than family income or socioeconomic status. Entonces es importante saber, antes de comenzar, que la práctica de la lectura tiene un impacto muy grande en las habilidades de lectura de un estudiante. Y sabemos que a través de la práctica los estudiantes mejoran sus habilidades en lectura. Basado en basado en las investigaciones que han hecho, la práctica de lectura tiene un impacto más poderoso en las habilidades de lectura y es más poderoso que la tarea, el trabajo en la clase y también las relaciones que los estudiantes tienen con sus maestros. Y también tiene un impacto más poderoso que el estatus socioeconómico de una familia.
And we also wanted to share a chart that shows what difference reading 20 minutes a day can show you and can do. So this chart shows what reading at home 20 minutes can do. So the first column, let me see if I can get my annotation. Oh, I'm not sharing. Miss Horan is. So the first chart is reading 20 minutes a day. So this is student A. So student A reads 20 minutes a day. That's 360 minutes a day, minutes a school year, and that's 1,800 words per year. That child will score in the 90th percentile in the standardized testing. That's an awful lot. And that's 20 minutes a day. Whereas student B only reads 5 minutes per day. That child will only read 900 minutes per year. And they only will learn 282 minutes per year. And you'll see the number of books decrease dramatically in that middle column. And they'll score only in that 50th percentile on that standardized test. Right away, you can see a dramatic drop in their score by how many books that they're not reading, and that reading goes down dramatically just from 15 minutes less of reading. Whereas student C only reads for 1 minute. Look at that. They're only reading 180 minutes per school year. It's only 8,000 words per minute. It's a very small amount of books, and they're scoring at the 18th percentile. So, I'm going to mute you. So as you can see, reading 20 minutes a day is so impactful for the words that they're reading per minute, that the percentile of their standardized test, it just really, really impacts their overall academic performance. And it's just really, really important. So we really wanted to share this chart with you. And hopefully this will be more recognizable as we go on through the school year, because this is going to be hopefully more frequently, because we're going to be sending this chart out with our reading fluency letters. So you've received this chart in September, and you're going to be receiving it again in November and every other time we do our reading fluency, to remind you of the importance of that 20 minutes of reading.
Ok, entonces ¿Por qué necesito leer por 20 minutos cada noche? Y eso puede ser una pregunta típica de un estudiante o de un niño, ¿no es cierto? Y hay tres ejemplos de estudiantes que están leyendo por cantidades de tiempo diferentes. El primer estudiante, estudiante A, está leyendo por 20 minutos cada día. Estudiante B, 5 minutos cada día. Y estudiante C, 1 minuto cada día. Y podemos ver que a través del año escolar, la cantidad de tiempo impacta mucho la suma cuando estamos pensando a fin del año. Entonces, un estudiante que está leyendo 20 minutos cada día a fin del año va a ser más que 3.000 minutos por el año escolar y también va a estar, va a encontrar casi 2 millones de palabras en su lectura. Estudiante B, si está leyendo 5 minutos cada día, a fin del año es 900 minutos y va a ser casi 300.000 palabras. Y estudiante C, 1 minuto cada día, de ahí es solamente 3 horas a fin del año escolar, 180 minutos y 8.000 palabras a fin del año. Entonces podemos ver la diferencia de las experiencias de los estudiantes en comparación. También los estudios demuestran que los estudiantes que están leyendo en la casa y están leyendo por sus intereses obtienen resultados diferentes en los exámenes estándares. Por ejemplo, un estudiante que está leyendo más va a tener resultados más altos y un estudiante que está leyendo menos probablemente, típicamente va a tener resultados más bajos. Algo importante también es desde kinder hasta sexto grado, si están leyendo 20 minutos cada día, a fin del año o a fin de sexto grado, es casi lo mismo que 60 días de escuela que está leyendo. Entonces, de ahí va a tener mucha más experiencia con los libros, con los textos, si está practicando todos los días por 20 minutos. La importancia de leer en su primer lengua en la casa. Entonces, a veces encontramos con una confusión con familias en que piensan si están leyendo en español en la casa, que le va a causar confusión para su hijo, si está también aprendiendo en la escuela a leer en inglés. Y eso es algo que escuchamos de vez en cuando en la escuela, pero los estudios dicen que es el opuesto. Un estudiante que está aprendiendo a leer en la casa en su lengua materna va a tener más éxito a aprender a leer también en inglés. So oftentimes we run into some confusion from families about learning to read at home in a home language. And a lot of times we run into family situations where families are concerned if I practice at home in Spanish with my child, that might make them more confused when they're learning to read in English. But all of the research says that a student who's learning to read in their home language, it's actually going to benefit them when they're learning to read in um, their in English as well. So it's actually the opposite. So home language literacy helps and does not hinder reading development in a new language. While grammar rules, letter rules, and other factors differ between languages, the foundational reading skills developed in a student's first language will transfer to the second language. Children who read in their home language, such as Spanish, will actually have an easier time learning to read in a second language, like English. Entonces, los estudios demuestran que los niños que les leen en su lengua materna, como el español, les resulta más fácil aprender a leer en un segundo idioma, por ejemplo, el inglés. Los beneficios son aún mayores para los niños que primero aprenden a leer en su lengua materna. Eso quiere decir que al desarrollar las destrezas de leer y escribir de su hijo en español, estará facilitando que aprenda a hablar, leer y escribir en inglés en el futuro. Ok. Entonces, recursos para leer en casa. Antes de repasar los recursos, queríamos hablar sobre los pasos de aprender a leer y escribir. So we're going to get started by talking about some resources for reading at home. But before we dive into that, we want to talk about the phases of reading and spelling because there are different resources depending on where your child is at with their reading development. So here are four typical phases, consolidated or abridged, uh, talking about a child's reading ability. So there's pre-alphabetic, which is when they're able to identify very few letters, no real sounds yet. They might identify some environmental print, like some words that they see around. And if they try to spell words, it might look like random letters. When we get to partial alphabetic, they're able to identify many uppercase and lowercase letters, some sounds. They have some ability to hear what's the sound at the beginning of a word, at the end of a word, and they can start to write the beginning sound of a word. And they're able to produce some invented spelling. Full alphabetic is when students are able to identify all upper and lowercase letters and their associated sounds, able to blend and segment sounds in a word, and they have memorized some sight words. And they're able to use the context to confirm as well. And then consolidated alphabetic is when they have those more enhanced reading skills where they're able to identify all of the letters, all of the sounds. They have a large bank of sight words, including multisyllabic words, and they're able to use context to confirm. And they're able to have memory of how to spell different words. For example, thumb in English, they would be able to remember the B at the end, for example, even though it's not something that you hear, because they've experienced it enough that they can remember, oh, it has the B at the end. So, unas fases de desarrollo de lectura abreviados. Hay cuatro fases o cuatro pasos. El primero es cuando todavía solamente saben unas letras y no saben los sonidos, pero pueden identificar cuando hay palabras escritas en el medio ambiente. Por ejemplo, en un pared que encuentran en la calle. Lo alfabético parcial es cuando pueden identificar muchas más letras mayúsculas y minúsculas, capaz de identificar algunos sonidos de las letras y pueden predecir palabras desconocidas con el sonido inicial. El tercer fase es cuando están capaces de identificar todas las letras, todos los sonidos, perdón, que pueden combinarlos, segmentarlos y han memorizado unas palabras o más palabras de alta frecuencia. Y también pueden utilizar el contexto de un texto para adivinar la palabra por los sonidos que encuentran. Y finalmente, el último fase es el alfabético consolidado, en que están capaces de todos los sonidos, todas las palabras multisílabas también los pueden leer rápidamente, um, y que también pueden utilizar el contexto y están leyendo de una manera más fluida. Okay, so this is Scarborough's reading rope based on the science, which is used a lot when we're talking about the science of reading. It talks about how there are two main pieces that are happening in a child's brain as they're reading that allow the child to be a skilled reader. So there's language comprehension, which is the understanding and making meaning of the words that they're pulling from the page. And then there's word recognition, which is actually the ability to take the letters from the word from the page and identify what sounds they're making and then put together the words in that moment. So these two have to work strategically together in order for fluid reading to happen. If a child is too stuck in one area, it can actually impact their overall comprehension and fluency. For example, if a child is still in the early phases and they're really focused on decoding and identifying what the sounds are on the page, then by the time they get to the end of the sentence, they might have forgotten what the words were that they were reading because they've spent so much of their energy just trying to figure out what words happen when. And that might look like if a child is reading and they're saying the A cat is, and then they get to the end of the sentence and they can't remember what happened first, what happened next, etc. Language comprehension is being able to take those words that they read and being able to actually make sense of it and make meaning of it and understand and using their language, their vocab, their pre-existing knowledge on the topic to make meaning from it. Entonces aquí es un dibujo de los dos partes de lo que hace un estudiante cuando está leyendo. Y son los dos procesos que están pasando a la vez en su cerebro. Y las dos actividades o los dos procesos ayudan para tener lectura hábil o lectura fluida. Y eso es una parte de lo que están estudiando en las ciencias de lectura, que hay las dos partes del proceso. El primero es que el reconocimiento de la palabra, que tienen que tener la habilidad de ver las letras y saber cuáles son los sonidos de que se encuentran en las palabras y encontrar cuál es la palabra que están leyendo en la página. Y esta es la primera parte que es la fonética. Y también tiene que ver con descifrar las palabras y también las palabras de alta frecuencia. También tenemos el comprensión del lenguaje, en que están haciendo o están comprendiendo qué es la significancia, el significado de lo que están leyendo y qué es el vocabulario, cuál es el conocimiento que ya tiene sobre el tema y de ahí los dos procesos están pasando a la vez para tener una lectura fluida o hábil de un estudiante. Si un estudiante está muy enfocado en cierto proceso, puede ser que causa dificultades de tener la lectura fluida a fin de leerlo, porque si están muy enfocados en la fonémica y los sonidos a fin y toma mucho tiempo para leerlo, a fin de la oración o del párrafo, pueden llegar ahí y han pensado tanto en cuáles son las palabras que no saben la comprensión o qué significa lo que leyeron. Entonces son los dos procesos a la vez. Ok. Aquí tenemos los recursos de Xdera. So we're going to talk about some of the resources now. So the first one is RAS Plus. All students have RAS Plus. If you need your login information, please let me know or let your teacher know, and we can make sure to get that to you right away. It is an online library that our students have access to at home and at school, and it has leveled books for students. So the resources are available to all families. And the benefit of it is teachers actually get access to the reading data online for their students. It also has the benefit of reading the book aloud to students so they can hear it first and then they read it aloud to the out loud to the computer, and then they take a little comprehension quiz at the end. So it gives the teachers a lot of data on their students.
And it doesn't have and you can use it at any hours, unlike Epic. You can use it any hours of the day, on the weekends, at any hours. So it's a great resource.
Yeah, it's available at home, at school. It's free for families. We just have to make sure that you have your login information. Entonces, el primer recurso que vamos a hablar de es el RAS Plus, que está disponible para todos los estudiantes de Xdera. Xdera lo compró para los estudiantes, entonces si necesitan su usuario y contraseña, se puede hablar con su maestro o maestra o con nosotros y lo podemos buscar, ¿ok? Y tiene textos de kinder hasta quinto grado. Tienen también unos textos que pueden ser más avanzados, pero típicamente es un recurso para estudiantes de kinder hasta quinto. Y lo beneficioso es que los estudiantes pueden escuchar el texto primero y después leerlo en voz alta y finalmente tiene una prueba. Y los textos están a su nivel de lectura y los maestros reciben la información de la práctica del estudiante y lo pueden utilizar en la escuela. Okay. This one? Okay. Go ahead, Jess.
We also want to let you know that parents can also borrow laptops and iPads to keep at home during the school year. All you would have to do is sign a laptop agreement, and you can get these by talking to our business managers. And then as soon as you sign the laptop agreement and it gets turned in, and make sure all the information is correct, and then we can get these in your hands. And this is another great way to make sure you can download all of those apps like Raz Plus, and that you can use these at home.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rivas. Entonces, otro recurso que estamos ofreciendo a las familias es que las familias pueden tener prestados un iPad o una computadora para utilizar en la casa durante el año escolar. No tienen que regresarlo cada día. Es algo que se puede quedar en la casa para cuidar y usar durante el año escolar y después regresar antes del verano. Solamente si lo necesitan, pueden hablar con los business managers que son Valerie y Melissa en la oficina. Pueden llamar a la oficina para pedirlo. Y de ahí reciben una forma del equipo de tecnología para firmar que dice um, que están recibiendo el iPad o la computadora para utilizar en la casa.
And we also want to let you know about an app that they have that is connected to the LA Library that is called Libby. And in a second, Miss Haran will show you exactly what this looks like. The LA Library has a free library card, and we will show you the application. It is very quick to get a free library card, and you would get an e-library card, which means you can download free books online. And if you download them online, you don't have to go to the library to return them, which means no late fees because they automatically get returned. So you can read books online. My favorite thing is you can listen to books online. I love listening to audiobooks as I cook, as I drive to work, so I don't mind getting stuck in that LA traffic, especially when the Dodgers are playing. And you can read all types of books, including they have Spanish books, they have Portuguese books, whatever books that you are reading at home, or if you want to learn a different language. This is a great, great app for you to download. I actually got into it during the pandemic, and I cannot live. Oops, sorry, my bug zapper went off. My dog is getting a little crazy right now. Sorry. It's okay. I cannot live without this app. So I highly, highly suggest that you download this. And Miss Haran is going to show you what this app looks like, to show you the e-library card and the app, what it looks like for her daughter, because it is a highly, highly useful app. And I can see that some of her parents love this app as well. Yay. Okay, you're okay.
Okay, so when you want to, oh, let me translate that first. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
entonces vamos a hablar sobre un aplicativo que pueden utilizar es a través de la Biblioteca de Los Ángeles y se llama Libby. Y vamos con una carta de la Biblioteca de Los Ángeles, lo pueden utilizar para bajar libros en la casa o en la escuela a través del Wi-Fi y de ahí los estudiantes pueden leerlo en cualquier lugar. Y también tienen libros en audio y también tienen libros leídos en voz alta, también con las palabras para los estudiantes y hay muchas opciones que lo vamos a mostrar. También tienen la opción de tener una carta de la biblioteca electrónica que está mucho más fácil. No tienen que ir a la biblioteca para recibirlo. Lo pueden hacer a través de su computadora o su teléfono para tener acceso al aplicativo. So this is actually the e-card application. You don't even have to go into the library. You just fill it out online. If you lose your library card, like I have done in the past, this is a great, easy resource to get you online right away and to get you access to your books.
And can we also add that if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can download books, all the audiobooks on, so if you're going anywhere on a plane or if you don't have Wi-Fi, if you lose your Wi-Fi, all of your materials can be downloaded. So that's also a really great thing as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. So all you need to do is put in your name and as well as your address and then a phone number and that you agree. And then you click I accept and then you'll be able to access your library card. Once you do that, you can download the Libby app the Libby, or you can use it on the website. This is actually my daughter's library account right here that I'm showing you, which we use at home all the time. So she just walked in to give me a face. Um,
Thanks, Ellie.
Yeah, thanks, Ellie. So you can actually go through and click here, and it'll show you the books that you have on your shelf, how long you have them for. It returns them automatically. And there's different types of books that you can borrow. Like there are ones where it says read aloud, where you can actually click and listen and hear it. And then there's other books that you can read. And then there's also audiobooks where if you just want to hear it. So for example, if you have students in like the earlier phases of reading that we talked about, these are really great resources to use. Entonces aquí es el perfil de mi hija que me está dejando usar para mostrar los libros que ella tiene en este momento. Y ella, yo creo que los niños pueden tener hasta 30 libros a la vez a través de lo electrónico, en adición que los que pueden tener en persona en la biblioteca. Y hay muchos tipos de libros que pueden usar, que pueden leer. Tienen libros en audio y también tienen libros leídos en voz alta. Por ejemplo, para los estudiantes que están aprendiendo a leer, este es una buena opción para escucharlo, en cuanto que también están aprendiendo a leer.
And they tumbled right up
Can you
to
hear it or no?
Moana.
Okay.
Moana untangled them and gasped when she saw the anklet around Pua's snout. You found it, she said, giving.
Ok, entonces se puede ver que es una estrategia buena para tener en la casa porque pueden ver la palabra que está leyendo en cuanto que lo están escuchando. So this is an example of a good strategy that you can use at home where the children can actually look at the book and see the words highlighted as it's reading it aloud so that they boost their word recognition skills and they're able to continue to read as they build up their own independent reading skills at the same time. And it's really good also because you can actually search. So for example, I did Magic Treehouse and then I did Spanish and I go like this. I went up here. What's another one? I'll do Goosebumps since it's almost Halloween. So I can do Goosebumps here. I can click, do I want books or audiobooks? And then I can click, I want it available now, juvenile, so that it's child appropriate. And I can also pick what language I want. So I can pick English or Spanish. Entonces, por ejemplo, puedo buscar los libros de Goosebumps porque casi estamos en Halloween. Y de ahí puedo seleccionar la audiencia, que sería jóvenes. Y también puedo escoger la lengua que quiero. Puede ser inglés o en español. Y después puedo hacer así para ver cuáles son los libros de Goosebumps que están disponibles ahora. Ok, entonces aquí es el aplicativo y también la aplicación para tener una carta en la biblioteca. So this is an example of the app that you can use, Libby, as well as the eCard application. Jess, do you mind dropping those links into chat for families?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Or we can do that in a second if you want to talk about the libraries.
What am I next? We also wanted to put the libraries that are close to our schools. So the Benjamin Franklin Branch Library is closest to Breed and Second Street. And then if you are at our Eastman campus, we wanted to put the El Camino Real Library. And of course, we don't have to go to the library that's closest to us. So we also put the map that shows all the libraries that are in East LA and Boyle Heights. As you can see here, because like I said, you don't have to go to the closest. You can go to whatever library you want. That's the joy of public libraries.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rivas. Okay. Oh, no, this is also you.
Oh, this is also me too. We also have some more awesome resources for you. So we have Imagine, we have the MyPath app that is for fourth grade and up. Yes, fourth grade and up. This is what the students are listening to and improving their reading and well. And then we have language and literacy, which is new this year. It is for kindergarten and third grade. We are very excited that we were able to purchase this because it is a more personalized learning app for our younger students. And I have to say the teachers are very thrilled and they're very excited for this app. And the third graders are so excited to be able to get this as well. So we're really, really excited to have these two apps that they're using in the class. And it's really, really helping them learning to read and really supporting their learning and supporting their reading. Monster, Teach Your Monster to Read is free on the laptop only. If you do download it on the iPad, it does cost money. But if you use it on your computer, it is completely free. And this is a really great resource that teaches your child how to read in a really fun way, has that little green monster that is a really fun way to interact with your child. And it is a really fun, interactive way that just really kind of makes reading a not necessarily a gaming way, but just really interactive and really fun. And the kids really enjoy it. Every time they see it pop up, they get really interested and excited. And then we do have a paid subscription down at the bottom. It's $8.99 or $7.99, depending on which app. And that is Track Your Monster and Reading for Fun as well.
And so these ones, MyPath and Language and Literacy, Xterra has purchased for students. So please reach out to your teachers if you want your login and passwords to be able to practice at home. And they are assessment-based, where they already have the information about where your child is at. And from there, they have their individualized learning path. And these are for students at all phases of reading ability that we talked about earlier, and then of reading development. And then here, Teach Your Monster to Read is really those first two, maybe three stages of reading that we talked about earlier. And then Reading for Fun is really the third and the fourth stage, where they already have the foundational phonics skills. And it's really just comprehension and fluency. Entonces aquí tenemos unos aplicativos que pueden utilizar en la casa, los que están en la izquierda, que se llaman Imagine MyPath o Imagine Language and Literacy, lenguaje y literatura. Los dos están comprados a través de Xterra y tenemos todos los estudiantes de Xterra tienen acceso en la escuela y también en la casa. Entonces, si quieren sus usuarios y contraseñas, pueden hablar con sus maestros o con nosotros para recibirlo, para practicar en la casa. Es a través de una evaluación que el aplicativo hace un camino propio para su estudiante después de ver en qué nivel está. Y lo bueno es que los programas están muy beneficiosos para estudiantes en cualquier nivel o paso de aprender a leer. Los dos otros que sugerimos, uno se llama Teach Your Monster to Read, o lo que en español enseña a su monstruo a leer. Y eso es para los estudiantes que están en los primeros 2 o 3 pasos de aprender a leer, que tiene que ver más con la fonémica, con las palabras de alta frecuencia, y es gratis a través de una computadora, o para bajarlo en aplicativo. Hay un costo de $8 a $9 dependiendo en el aplicativo. La segunda opción es Teach Your Monster Reading for Fun. Enseña a su monstruo leer por diversión. Y eso es un aplicativo para los estudiantes que están en el tercer o cuarto paso de aprender a leer, ya tienen el base, pero necesitan practicar la comprensión y la fluidez. Entonces vamos a hablar sobre las estrategias para leer en casa y al final vamos a pedir que ustedes compartan a través del chat cuáles son las estrategias que ya están utilizando en la casa que son muy beneficiosas para sus estudiantes. Y esas las 7 estrategias que vamos a compartir son basadas en la investigación o en los estudios.
So the first thing is to create a love of reading at home. One of the ways my mom did this is to go to the library with me. We would have a set day that we went to the library, and I will be honest with you, the librarians knew my name and they would literally put books aside for me. And my mom would read chapter books with me when I was that age. And I would just love reading because I would want to spend time with my mom. My mom would always have a book as well. My home was always a home where we loved reading. So that was one way that my family created a love of reading. So think about how you can create a love of reading in your home.
Thank you, Jess. Entonces, la primera es crear un ambiente de literatura en la casa, en que tienen las rutinas, tienen las celebraciones o tienen las tradiciones sobre la lectura y cómo lo hagan para que el estudiante o su hijo ama la lectura en la casa, cómo hacemos un ambiente en que el estudiante se siente muy feliz al leer y que es algo que les gusta hacer. Ok, la segunda es conversar con los estudiantes sobre lo que están leyendo. La tercera es tener, oh, sorry, I did that only in Spanish. It's getting late, guys, sorry. The second one is having engaging conversations with your children about what they're reading, the books they like, what they don't like, the characters, etc. Families holding high expectations for their child learning. Entonces, la tercera es tener grandes expectativas por el aprendizaje de sus hijos.
Making reading enjoyable. So reading books with your child and not making it a chore, just making sure that you're having fun with reading. And like I said, not making it a chore. Maybe you're reading comics, maybe you're reading graphic novels, just making sure reading is fun at the end of the day. You don't want it to become another meeting. You don't want it to become another boring task. You want it to be fun and exciting.
Yeah. Entonces la cuarta es hacer que leer en la casa es algo divertido, que los estudiantes quieren hacer, que no es un deber o no es un castigo. Nunca queremos que la lectura es un castigo que tienen que hacer por algo que hicieron. Um, es algo que les gusta hacer y cómo hacerlo como familia para que sea algo divertido. The fifth one is to use home language. So, like we talked about earlier, the benefit of reading in home language with children at home, it really, really helps vocab, grammar, everything. So there's a very strong connection between home language and children building and using those skills at school. La quinta es utilizar el lenguaje materna en la casa en la lectura. Y como mencionamos antes, que es algo muy importante para los estudiantes y solamente es algo beneficioso para ellos.
And communicating with your child's teachers, making sure that you have all your passwords for Raz Kids, for MyPath, for Imagine Learning. Make sure you know what your child's reading level is. Making sure you're just having that open communication with your child's teachers. Are you on Remind? Are you on Class Dojo? All those fun things.
La sexta o número 6 es comunicarse con los maestros de sus hijos. Eso puede ser a través de Class Dojo durante las conferencias. En unas semanas tenemos las conferencias y ese es un ejemplo muy bueno de cuando pueden comunicar cuáles son las fortalezas de mi hijo en lectura y qué es algo que puedo hacer en la casa para continuar a desarrollar sus destrezas de lectura. También estamos mandando las cartas de lectura a casa que tienen los resultados de las evaluaciones que estamos tomando cada 8 a 10 semanas. Entonces, de ahí también pueden monitorear el progreso de su hijo en su lectura. So also I just remembered
Yes.
student-led conferences are coming up in 2 weeks. That is the perfect time to sit down with your teacher and talk about how things are going. What are my child's strengths in reading? How can I support at home, etc. So there's a lot of really good opportunities as well.
Mhm.
And then we also have our reading letters that are going
I was
home.
just going to say that.
Yeah, every 8 to 10 weeks, so that you can check in and see how your child is doing in terms of progress and where they need support, etc. Because we want to make sure that our families are really informed, and that you guys have the ability to be able to reinforce and support from home as well, because we know parent partnership is really important. Okay, so now we're going to take a minute for you guys to drop into chat. What is a strategy that you have seen work for your child, something you do at home that's really beneficial? So that's where we're going to ask for your participation. We want to hear from you all. What's something that you already do or that you've seen really to work well for your child? Entonces ahora queremos escuchar de ustedes cuáles son las estrategias que les gusta hacer en la casa que son muy beneficiosos para sus estudiantes que tienen un impacto grande que han visto en la lectura de sus hijos. Entonces pueden compartirlo a través del chat, cuáles son las estrategias que ya están haciendo en casa y que son beneficiosos para sus estudiantes. También si quieren hablar a través del micrófono, lo pueden hacer así también. You can also do it on your mic as well if that's easier for you right now.
I keep a chapter books in my car for my 8-year-old.
Oh, I missed out. Ah, ok. Alguien escribió que tengo una canasta de libros, novelas en mi carro para mi estudiante o mi hijo de 8 años. Thank you for sharing, Maritza. Reading in the car is a great way to use that idle time.
Mhm.
Keep them busy as long as they don't get carsick. Anyone else? And you can come off microphone. I know it's late. We're almost done. This is our second to last activity. We have one other thing after this, and we're done. Oh, okay, we got somebody who said bedtime
Woohoo.
stories before bed, cuentos en la cama antes de dormir. Muy bien. Alguien escribió, siempre antes de dormir, su mente está programada de tener que leer y que lea en 4 grado 9 años. Yeah. So another parent was sharing about it's just part of our routines. We always make sure that we read before bed for a fourth grader. Jocelyn wrote, we love going to the library, and we do tend to pick 5 books whenever we go to the library, and we like to read before bedtime. So it sounds like bedtime is a big one. Having that routine, having that tradition of reading before sleeping. Absolutely. Does anybody else want to share?
Ooh. Oh, change the environment. He chooses where to read. In the weekends, he gets to pick if we go to the park, the beach with our dogs.
Oh, that's really cute. I've heard about that. I've never tried it, but I've heard reading to pets or reading to dogs is a really good strategy to lower student stress level with reading and so that they feel really comfortable and confident. I love that.
Therapy dogs come to my school once in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Can you
And
read
then
our last one?
another parent, sorry, go ahead.
Can you read our last one?
Yes. Also having children read together. So reading together in the family is another really strong strategy that can be used. Because then it becomes a family bonding moment. Alguien escribió sobre leer todos los niños juntos a la vez y eso también es una buena estrategia para tener tiempo como familia, y también para tener un ambiente de lectura. Muchas gracias. Okay, so the last thing before questions is what is one promise that you're making about reading after today's workshop? After today's parent university, what's one thing that you plan to do or implement to take with you as a new strategy to carry on? Entonces, la última actividad que vamos a hacer es cuáles son las promesas que van a hacer después del taller de hoy. ¿Qué es una estrategia que quieren utilizar en la casa o una promesa que van a hacer? Oh, I love that. So somebody said, I have a little mini library in their room. And that when it's bedtime, they know they go to their room to read. Somebody wrote, I will be a model for my child and find time to read for myself. That's so important for children to see their parents reading. It really helps them connect and see how important it is, and that it's that looking up and seeing that mentorship or that guidance. Entonces alguien escribió que tiene una mini biblioteca en su casa, en su cuarto, y que también sabe que a la hora de dormir se lee. Y alguien más escribió que voy a hacer su promesa es de ser modela o modelo para su hijo, para encontrar tiempo para leer por sí mismo, para mostrar la importancia de leer. Anybody else want to drop their promises into the chat? Oh, going back to connecting it to a hands-on activity. Thank you. Yeah. Entonces, conectar lo que están leyendo con una actividad de participación. Y alguien más escribió, mi promesa es de leer o compromiso es de leer con mi hija en inglés y yo en español. Um, so another parent wrote, my promise or my commitment is that I'm going to read with my daughter and she'll read in English and then I'll be reading in Spanish. And Mirna wrote, my son does ear reading on Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. And it's such a good learning session for the students. Yes, that's definitely a good promise to have, bringing them to tutoring every morning. That is quite the commitment, though, as a parent to get up very early to drop them off. So thank you.
Oh, this is great.
Yes, read by example, read a book while my kids read as well, que leer un libro, ser un ejemplo, leer en cuanto que mis estudiantes están leyendo también. Alguien escribió que voy a la tutoría con mi hijo cada día, lunes a jueves a las 7:05 para tener air reading, la tutoría de lectura en la mañana y que es algo muy importante de aprendizaje para los estudiantes. Ya, alguien escribió que me gustaría que mi hija mayor y su hermana mayor y yo leer con ellas y disfrutar en familia. So somebody wrote that they are excited to read with their older and younger daughter, and to be with them and to have it be a family time.
These are all wonderful.
Yes. Thank you everyone so much. Please make sure you drop your name in chat. That was it. You are welcome to stay on if you have questions or you need access, anything like that. Please let us know and we can stay on. Otherwise, that concludes today's workshop. Muchas gracias hoy a todos ustedes por su participación. Vamos a quedarnos si tienen preguntas o si necesitan acceso a un programa, pero si no, eso concluye el taller y muchas gracias y que tengan buena noche. We hope
Thank
you
you
have a
all.
wonderful
Gracias.
evening. Thank you.
Oh.
Do you want to go ahead and stop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stop the recording. Thank you, Jess.